What's going on, everybody? This is Super Pro by Dead, and today we have in front of you Grindor and Ravage, one of my second Studio Series live action movie figures. And I already have him transformed in helicopter mode, and I'm going to tell you right now, I hate this figure. Not that I don't like the figure, I just hate it because it's so hard to transform. But other than that, I did get him in helicopter mode as best as I could. And I do like it. It's like having a giant toy. I don't know how much of it I can get on camera because it's so big. But it's pretty big. But the problem that I have is a lot of these tabs. It'll just, you put one side in and the other side comes out. And it just kept going. And it got to the point where I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So it's got this giant spinning propeller, and I mean it's creating a little force there. Oops, see, it's very big, very big. He's got this, back propeller. I mean, there's a lot of just things going on. I do like it. I just wish I was able to transform it as well. But from the underside, the one thing I like, it is very clean, and of course there is Ravage, which we're going to bring him out right now because I want to kind of get him out of the way. And Ravage is this little, shoots out, and they just kind of fold him up, and he's got a special bay in the back, which the first one did not have. So, there's Ravage, and, he's very ravagey. It's pretty cool, pretty neat. Okay, and of course the helicopter again. It's got some nice details, nice paint here. I like that copper. That copper is really fantastic. I'm gonna get it a little closer in the light. You see what I mean? Like, yeah, that's right there. Look at that. That copper is amazing. It's a nice, military gray. There's yellow on the door right there. And, it's got a just nice overall material. Well, that's not material, because the material, let's rephrase that. The material is not good. It's a light plastic. This plastic is just not, it always feels like it's going to break. And that's probably why I'm not getting everything to tab in correctly. But that's just how it feels. But you can see it here and from the front, from the top. Like I said, this part was the worst. I can't ever get this to fold in. If it does and I touch it, it comes right back out. So, transforming this, if you guys got yours to work and then you're saying that I'm crazy, man, kudos to you, because I can't do it, And there are a lot of symbols here, the Marines, 53. There's some battle damage or paint scraping there. You can see right there. It's and probably my camera doesn't do it justice because of the darkness, but yeah, it's pretty. Pretty cool piece. I like it though. Don't get me wrong. I like it. It's just, it doesn't transform. This is the box. And it is 46 steps to do this thing. 46 steps. That is a lot. And of course we'll, at the end of the video, show the backdrop. But I want to show you how big this thing is. Like, this won't fit in Chug or current even, trilogy, because he's just way too big. This is like a showpiece. And like I said, the tabs just don't. I've tried. I've had, this side was correct. And then as soon as I fiddle with that side, it just comes right out. And they're just like, this is something I will not transform. This is the only time I'll transform, is going back in the box, because I just don't have, like that type of. I do have an attachment to the character because I know what happened to him, because Michael Bay forgot that he killed off a Blackout. So. And of course, off with your face, Optimus Prime. But just to give a size comparison of how big he is, we're going to pull out just a few other Decepticons from the Siege line, because I don't have any Decepticons in... I don't have hardly any live action movie studio series toys. So here's compared to a Jet, good old Skywarp. And I mean, he just, he dwarfs him. And if you want to see like another helicopter comparison that would, fit into your War for Cybertron line that does kind of have a similar look, it's going to probably be Vortex. And this isn't the Combiner Wars Vortex. This is Unite Warriors Vortex. He has the extra propeller blades that hang down kind of like a real chopper. And it kind of similar to this. But look at the size of Grindor compared to Vortex. I mean, he's like a baby. This is like, what I'm saying? Like, come on, my little son. Let's go out and, fight people. He's just, look at this, man. The blades are bigger than him. The blades are bigger than him. That's truly amazing, just how big this is. And really, that's all the comparison I have, because sitting here trying to compare him to cars, trucks, and he's just not going to fit in your collection. Not if you are like me, where it's mostly not even Masterpiece. I only collect mainline because I have Masterpiece, but you'll never see me review it. Let's put it that way. But I have some. So, will we go into transformation? We'll try, and I'm going to make a stop point here, but if it's bad, you're just going to see robot mode. So, be right back with editing. All right, so focal point. So first things first that you want to do is this. Look, transforming this thing to a helicopter was just pure hell. It was no fun at all. And it's not the fault of the engineering of the transformation. It's just the fault of the plastic choices that they use. This is cheap plastic. It's not, it's just a very, very light plastic, and it just feels like that. It doesn't feel like Siege. It just feels light, And so, like I said, if there's any error in this transformation, well, I just want to tell you, because I know you experts out there, shut up. Go out and find this toy, because he's not easy to find. But I mean, it's just a lot of folding and it's not unnecessary. I mean, it's necessary. Like, it's necessary, but it's just, man, it's just not fun. So keep that in mind when you buy this toy. If if you're used to this and you know how this works, then yeah, I mean, it's probably great for you. But for me, it just, I expect a lot from the studio series, to be kind of, like, okay, this is the, not to say it's like Masterpiece or anything like that, because, we always have Masterpiece, but I expect this to be like the creme de la creme, at least of mainline, to be, better than the, what we've gotten. And I gotta say, I was not impressed, because this plastic, like I said, this plastic feels almost cheap. I mean, even though when you put it together, it kind of, sorry, a little gnat. My wife is going to work today, snuck in here. I hope he's gone. But it's just like, it's awful. I mean, like, y'all gotta forgive me. I have to transform this in this way, because I can't really, hold it and deal with the camera at the same time. So you gotta forgive me. And if it takes a while, it just takes a while, But I can't really go step by step, because I'm not doing this step by step. I'm kind of doing it, based on what I have done with the figure so far. And this is leaving him in the package before I got home from work yesterday, and I think I transformed him last night around about 11, 12 o'clock, because I found out I didn't have to have an early day. And, you know, of course, this comes off. So I'm going to take that off. And I had an early day yesterday, so. And I didn't have an early day today. So I was like, all right, I'll sit up a little late and fiddle with this. But let me tell you, it is not a lot of fun. It's just, whew. But I like it because of the way he looks. I think that that's one of the things that I do like about the character, is just his screen presence is like whoa, this thing is, there's a lot going on here. You know what I'm saying? And I think among the easiest part to do with this toy was transform the legs. Like, it was like, yeah, the legs transform easy. Oh, but the rest of it, oh, it's gonna make you go, ugh. But like I said, if you're used to this figure, transforming him won't be a problem. So, you know, it's just for me. Like, I gotta admit it, it's probably just me, you know. And I forgot to fold that on the other side. Let me go on the other side and fold that in, because that's probably gonna be part of making sure he stands up correctly, you know. And then there's this part right here. So this is the legs. We've gotten the legs so far, and you know, that's that's part of the fun. So then after that, you know, you're kind of stuck dealing with this. And this is the part that I couldn't get, was how to get the legs to, you know, not the legs, the arms and the torso out. You know, I always felt like I was doing that backwards, you know. And like I said, when you hear snapping like that, man, just feel like you're breaking it. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, that's what makes this like a pain in the butt. You know, because it's like, okay, what am I doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? And you hear something snap, it's like, oh dear God. You know. And I know that folds down because it has to, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Okay. You see, you hear those snaps? Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just, you know, there's gonna be some serious edits, so don't kid yourself. It's gonna be some serious edits, you know, because we still got a ways to go. And I mean, I'm doing this, you know, this is first try back to robot mode, so, you know, not bad for a beginner. You know, I'm doing this off of memory. Like, this is just memory, because I was playing with this thing in robot mode, because I do like the way that he looks in robot mode. You know, I love his robot mode. I mean, I know it's not the aesthetic that I love, but I do love it. Okay, so I remember this part last night. That kind of hung up there. All right. Ugh. It's a nightmare to transform this thing. I think I see where we're supposed to go with this now. You know. Aha. There we go. Okay. And I think he's supposed to get the head out. I remember this part. I did this last night. And there's the tab right there. Oh, so we might actually leave all this in. I mean, shoot. I mean, at this point. All right. I mean, I think we almost got it. We're going to pause for the cause really quick and then come back and make sure that we're fully transformed. So I'm going to do some of this off the camera and then we'll be right back. Okay, I had to take them off camera, y'all. I'm so sorry. I had to straighten everything out and get it right. And, you know, I just couldn't do it on camera all the way. So for as much of the transformation you've seen, this is where we stop and we go to say, hey, I had to get him transformed. So he is transformed, and I've got to say, this is why I like this figure. So it's just the presence that he has in the movie, the way of all the Grindors and Blackouts that I remember seeing back when ROTF came out and everything like that. They just, they didn't match what we saw in the movie. And this is as close as it gets. Unless they do a masterpiece or something like that. I might buy that one too. I have a fascination for helicopters. Because they don't do it that often, you know. But he does look really good. And it's so clean. It is clean. It is clean. When I say that, because everything is, you know, just, and slowly rotating hands here, everything is just aligned. It's just this menacing look. Like if you saw this, you probably would run. You know, they always make that ominous noise and they transform like, you know, that, not that. It's just amazing. So articulation is not a lot of articulation, but he has articulation. So this is the waist skirt, and the legs can kind of, I think the waist skirt go out right there, and then the legs kind of can pop back like that. He's not going to do any, you know, real word stances because these are in the way, but he could kind of go behind his backpack, as you can see that. And of course in the front he can, you know, he has feet swivel, and the feet swivel is tight, but the legs are a little loose here at the, I guess that's the knee. It's hard to say because they got that chicken leg stance. Make sure we get in focus. The arms, you know, they're not going to do a 360. They're not going to do a 360, but they can extend out, and he can go up to here. He has an elbow, and let's look at the elbow. The elbow can go, like I said, a lot of the kibble's going to block it, you know, so you guys can see it. His hands, you know, even though he has the strange looking hands, they do open up and they do turn. He does not have a waist swivel at all. The head does go up and down and can turn left or right, but with the kibble it wouldn't be able to see. This extends out in and out like that. So he's roughly leader size. And the head sculpt, let's get a good look at that if we can. Alrighty. See if it'll let me get close. Let's see. Alright. I think my focus is off. Okay. It's about as close as we're gonna get. But it's a very nicely painted silver. See if I can get back into focus there. It's a very nicely painted silver. Nice painted head sculpt. It's very nice. It's very nice. You know, one of the that's what really sets this toy apart from the others, is that face sculpt. And right off the bat, that's really about all it does. It's not too much articulation. It's not going to be like, you know, wowing your socks off. It can't. It's just big, giant robot. It's you know, it can't. But it does what it does, and it does enough of it to do it well. And it's fold that back up, or you can fold it back down if you want. to show that symbol. And the symbol is also painted silver too. And yeah, like I said, he's leader class. And we're going to wrap this up because I don't really want to stay on this too long because there's really not much to say about it. It's just a good looking figure. It does look good if you, especially a fan of the movie, like it does. So we'll do some quick size comparisons with figures that I have. They're not going to be a Studio Series movie line, but Studio Series possibly 86. Let's get them out real quick. And before we do that, though, there's a Voyager. He's pretty big. He's big as a Voyager. And let's get him compared to another helicopter here. And that's Vortex. You can see he's like, they almost blend. Like I said, they really do kind of blend in together. That look. And I think that's pretty cool. Let me brighten this up a bit. So 3.2, 2.8 should do it. And you can see that there, that they do have that look together. And I think that's pretty cool. Let's stand them side by side real quick. Because he's so big and bulky, it's kind of hard to, put them together. But you can see, that's pretty cool. And just to see how large he is, we'll bring out Studio Grindor, because that's what I have on deck. Okay. And, he's going to look so drab in colors, but not drab like, oh, he's boring drab. Just for the fact that he's a military machine, but they're pretty much the same size as, not on the head, but overall on the same height. So he's leader class. And yeah, that's it. So my final thoughts with this figure, we can go to it right now. Without a doubt, I like the set. I like this figure. I like the set. The only caveats to be concerned about is the plastic quality is kind of lacking. It's one of those plastics. It reminds me like very closely of those like old plastic cars that were like this big, and you would get them and they would, don't say it the camera, have that feel to it, but they weren't, they were almost indestructible. That's like a, soft but sturdy plastic. It's not Siege, it's not Earthrise or Kingdom. It's a different type of plastic. With that being said, when transforming him, it always feels like you're going to break something. And when you snap things into place, you hear these loud snapping noises, and it's just like, oh my God, I'm going to break this thing. I know I'm going to break this thing. But you didn't. The transformation is not fun. It's not fun at all. It's a lot of tabbing in. And when you tab everything in, other parts want to come out. Even going in order, it did not work. It just did not work. For me, that is. But it could work for you. But if you like Grindor and you like ROTF, Revenge of the Fallen, and you didn't get Blackout, you definitely want to pick this one up because it's going to be sought after because it looks, overall what they did with this one, the engineering is what it should be. Like, even though it's a lot of unfolding of tabs, the way everything folds back in is very, not super compact, but it folds up like, man, and how big this thing is in helicopter mode with all those parts extending. They really thought this one out. And the look of him, he doesn't, like all the other Grindors and Blackouts, don't look like this guy. Or Blackout from the Studio Series. This guy looks the best. Like the parts, everything, how it hangs off of him just works. The paint details is worth it. And I think he's $49.99 at some places, $52.99, $54.99, depending on where you go. He could go up in value. I know a lot of people always say, well, wait for it to drop in price. Not everything drops in price. So just keep that in mind. It's best not to overpay. But, if you pay, but the late tax, you always overpay. Now, I'm not going to give him a rating, but what I will say is I like him. And he's a very good figure for a line that I don't collect. And I don't collect movie toys. I don't collect movie toys. I've got me, like I said, I've got so few that I don't have any to compare them with, or the ones that I have are mostly from Bumblebee, and they're in storage. Even my Studio Series 38 Optimus Prime is in storage, and that's one of my favorite Studio Series figures from just a live action movie. That being said, this is my favorite from a live action movie until I figure out which Megatron I want to get, and probably pick up, finally pick up a KSI boss. But I want to do something else with him. That's why I want a KSI boss. But with this guy, he was one of the figures that I'm like, man, they make one that look like him, and of course they never did. But when I saw this the first time, I didn't pick him up. I was at Target when he was the Blackout figure. Never picked him up, but I wanted him. Then when I went to my friend's house and saw his on the shelf, and I was just like, I would just keep looking at it, his Blackout. So I was like, when Grindor dropped, I was like, I'm going to get one. And he's worth it. He's really worth it, especially if you're a fan of the live action movie series. If you're not, that's up to you. Me personally, it's a personal thing. Like, I'm not going to be a completist. Not possible. But this one is unique. I guess that's a word I could use, unique. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, in my opinion, this is a great figure. This overall is a great figure. Despite the plastic, despite the transformation, it is a great figure. And you should pick him up, without a doubt. So, this is my review of Studio Series Grindor, which is number 73, because I don't even know the numbers. And I want to say thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for all my new subscribers. My name is Super Robot Ed. Please keep coming to my channel. Tell your friends. Please like, subscribe, and share. I do these reviews because I love doing them. And I do want to get paid so I can buy more toys. Help a brother out, get to 1,000. The road to 1,000. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a nice night. Another review is coming up in a few. Peace. And of course, just so we can show it off real quick, here is the background, of course, where his head gets ripped off, face off, by none other than our man Optimus Prime, who said, I'm gonna cut that head off, man. All right, let's get into the final thoughts.